Today we're going to bring you the story of Masada, the ancient fortress built by King Herod. And we're going to go to the top of that mountain where the actual fortress is and take you around and show you what the king built and tell you a little bit of history about this amazing, amazing attraction here near the Dead Sea. The cable car is a great way to get up to the fortress. If you want to hoof it though and get the full Masada experience, you can climb the hill. On that hill is where a group of Jewish extremists took control of the fortress and kept the Roman army at bay for a period of time. It was a momentous victory because it didn't last very long. Your first stop should be this scale model to give you a perspective of what you're about to see. First thing we're going to show you, where we start off, is at the northern end. We're going to take you to the commander's villa, some storage areas, a Roman bathhouse, as well as a 3-level palace built for Herod. For an ancient ruin, Masada is in pretty good shape. Restoration and preservation projects have been undertaken, and in 2001, Masada was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This area is the storeroom complex, and as you walk up and back, you'll find these rectangular rooms off of it. The rooms held vast quantities of all sorts of items to sustain life, whether it was grains and different types of food, and even wines in some cases. King Herod must have thought he'd live forever because he filled up a big part of Masada with items, provisions if you would, to last a very long time here. In fact, he even had wines from Crete, Cyprus, and Greece stored here, so he literally imported wines for his own personal use should he ever need this fort. As you walk around the fort, you'll notice these black lines. These black lines indicate two things. They'll tell you what was below it is original to the structure, and what above it is part of the restoration. Herod wanted all the luxuries that he had anywhere, so he actually built a Roman bathhouse up here on Masada. This room that I'm in right now is the room where they'd come in and they'd change. They'd literally drop all their clothes here. As we step through this doorway, you're in what was known as the tepid room or the warm room. So this is a smaller room that was warm, but warm by our standards. And off of this room, you have a much lower room where you'd walk down the stairs and they'd fill that, make it like a little cooling pool. So you could actually come in, warm up a little bit, go down here, go down a few steps, cool off, and then make your way up here and through this doorway. As you come through this doorway, there'd be a door here because you're going in to what they call the hot room or the sauna. It's pretty neat in terms of the engineering. They had an oven that would burn fuel outside, right, to create heat, and they would blow that hot air into this room. But they couldn't just blow it into the room because of smoke. So they engineered it to raise the floor up, and you'll see these pillars that are left behind that actually supported the raised floor. The heat would come in under the floor, but as you can see by the wall there, it would actually also come up the wall. So you'd have heat emanating from the floor, emanating from the walls, creating a sauna literally here in the desert. You'll also notice the ceiling. The ceiling is arched. The Romans were incredible architects. They knew that this hot room would create condensation on the ceiling. If the ceiling was flat, that condensation would drip down. So they arched it so that the condensation itself would run down the sides of the walls. The Northern Palace is a great vantage point to understand a major event that took place here at Masada. In 66 AD, the Jewish uprising took place. In 68 AD, a group of Jews took up residence here at Masada, seeking refuge and safety. In 70, Jerusalem fell. And in 72, the Roman army set up right outside, down below, this unbelievable fortress. If you look out this direction, you're going to see the main Roman camp. And you can see the outline of it, but there were a total of 8 Roman base camps. They initially tried to take back the fortress, and were unsuccessful. They then engineered a new idea, a new plan, to build a ramp to knock down the wall. And we're going to tell that story when we get down below. When the Romans failed to take the fort by conventional means, after storming it and being unsuccessful, they built that ramp with Jewish slave labor right below me. They then pushed a battering ram up that ramp to the edge of the fortress. At that moment, the Jews that were here knew that it was only a matter of time before the Romans would break through. They had to make a decision. The choice was to become enslaved by the Romans or to take their own lives. They chose the latter. Several days later, when the Romans broke through, all they found were bodies, except for 2 women that were still alive and a couple of children.